Well, the Signals Are Talking is a kind of manual in which we try to understand how to anticipate the future and see what will be in it. This book was written by the futurist Amy Webb, in which she begins by explaining how trends can be seen by certain signals that we have to perceive. I found the reading very interesting because it helps you to predict what trends will be in the future and how you can perceive where we are going. As the author says, trends do not come out of nowhere. Everything comes out step by step, and that is the interesting thing about how we can perceive those signals that we have all the time around us and are and that are giving us data that we can channel, take advantage, and use to predict a trend. In the first chapter, we talk about a new trend that will be the drones and how you can organize and structure the air traffic with the arrival of the drones. It talks about the restricted height for normal drones and home drones to avoid air accidents between them and
In
airplanes.
this first chapter, the author speaks about how technologies are very important nowadays and how technological trends are very important. Also, the importance of leaders having the capacity of identifying new trends before they fully emerge, and how companies should be in this century searching for trends and for technological trends every day. I think the author is trying to teach us how a futurist thinks. And one part I liked a lot about this first chapter was when he gave us like 6 steps for identifying trends. It could be in business, sports, movies, food, anything. So I think it was very interesting.
After reading the first chapter of the book The Signals Are Talking, where the author reflects upon the importance of companies planning towards a future to encounter difficult situations and thrive over them, and then shows various examples of companies that didn't plan towards the future and encounter very difficult situations, remind me all of about the first class, where we read an article about how companies are going to be very much affected because of the COVID-19 pandemic. I thought this could answer the first question, which is how can you relate the reading to the topics covered in that company, in that article. The first, the most important thing is that companies are going to be very affected for the COVID-19. And I'm sure that many of these companies didn't plan towards the future to encounter a difficult situation like this one, even though it's very hard to plan or expect the situation that we are living. I'm sure that from now on, many companies will plan to expect situation like this on a economic level.
Hello there. Following the discussion about the wonderful book, The Signals Are Talking, we've read about how we can predict possible futures by analyzing events from the past and also having a solid standpoint in the present, for it's no matter of lack of information, but quite the opposite. The excess of accessible knowledge provided by the ever evolving technology that blurs the essence of the information, making us take it for granted, not allowing us to see the signs. Bringing this concept down to the Colombian scenario, we can observe how people in general do not practice this way of thinking at all. Every election year, for example, people tend to make the wrong choice over and over when it comes to electing a new president. Perhaps for the fear of something worse, or the misleading information massively spread by the media. Or maybe we have proven ourselves to be a very indifferent society, as we have seen in the public response to the very latest massacres all around the country. Now, after listening to all of these signs, we must be able to infer useful data about the specific population by a substantial analysis. As sign readers,
To conclude, We learn in the first chapter of The Signals Are Talking of all the trouble Sony had to face with the hackers, first with the CDs, then with the PS3, among others. The author states that Sony might have prevented all this mess if they had explored the possible scenarios that might bring in the future. This book will help us learn how to think like a futurist and to forecast emerging trends. If we begin to think like futurists, we will collect data, identify emerging trends, develop strategies, and calculate probabilities of various scenarios occurring in the future.